You know, our bodies are these incredible self-regulating machines, constantly fighting to keep everything in balance. But what happens when the elements, extreme heat or cold, push back just a little too hard? In this explainer, we're going to break down the critical first aid you need to know for both heat and cold emergencies.
And right off the bat, here's a question that could literally save a life. One of these is a serious warning sign, but the other is a full-blown, life-threatening emergency. By the end of our time here, you'll know exactly how to tell them apart and what to do. So let's start with the basics, how our bodies handle temperature in the first place.
Before we dive into what goes wrong, we really need to understand the amazing system that's trying to keep everything right. So how does our body actually regulate its own temperature? Well, it all starts in a brilliant internal command center.
So, meet the boss, the hypothalamus. It's this tiny little part of your brain that is constantly monitoring your core temperature, like a super advanced thermostat. If you get too hot, it triggers sweating to cool you down. Too cold? It tells your muscles to shiver to generate heat. It is the master controller, always fighting to keep you in that perfect, optimal range.
And what's the hypothalamus's #1 tool for the job? Well, it's your skin. It's so much more than just a protective barrier. Think of it like a dynamic radiator and insulator all in one. The blood vessels just under your skin can widen to release heat, or they can clamp down to conserve it. It's absolutely essential for keeping our temperature stable.
Okay, so what happens when that heat just completely overwhelms our defenses and causes direct damage? We get burns. But not all burns are created equal, and knowing the difference is the absolute key to giving the right first aid.
This chart here does a great job of breaking down burn severity. You've got your superficial burns, think a mild sunburn. Then it gets more serious with partial thickness burns, which go deeper, cause nasty blisters, and are incredibly painful. But look at full thickness. The skin might look white or even charred, and, this is crucial, it might actually be numb right in the center. That numbness is a huge red flag because it means the nerves themselves have been destroyed.
For any severe burn, what you do in the first few moments is critical. The first thing you do is cool the burn with cool, and I mean cool, not ice cold, running tap water for at least 10 minutes. That stops the burning process in its tracks. Then, call 911. And while you're waiting, if you can, gently remove any jewelry or tight clothing near the burn before the swelling really starts.
And this is such an important point about a hidden danger. With electrical burns, the damage you see on the skin is often just the tip of the iceberg. That electricity can travel right through the body, causing all sorts of serious internal injuries you can't see. So getting professional medical help isn't just a good idea, it's non-negotiable.
Now, for chemical burns, the rules change just a little. First, make sure the area is safe for you. If it's a dry chemical, like a powder, you need to brush it off before you add water. Then you flood the area with running water for a full 20 minutes. We're talking a long time because you have to dilute and wash that chemical away completely.
And of course, let's not forget the most common burn of all, right? Sunburn. It's technically a radiation burn. The treatment is pretty straightforward. Cool the skin down, rehydrate your body by drinking plenty of water, and use soothing lotions like aloe vera to help with the discomfort.
All right, now we're going to level up from injuries just to the skin to a full-on, body-wide crisis. This is what happens when the body's internal thermostat doesn't just get overwhelmed, it starts to completely fail.
Okay, everyone, this right here is the life-saving difference we talked about at the very beginning. With heat exhaustion, your body is still trying to fight. It's still trying to cool down. That's why you see all that heavy sweating and the skin feels cool and clammy. But with heat stroke, the cooling system has shut down. The skin becomes hot and dry, the person gets confused, and their pulse becomes rapid and strong. That is a 5-alarm medical emergency.
Here it is, the red line. A body temperature of 103 degrees Fahrenheit or higher means things have escalated to heat stroke. At that point, the brain and other vital organs are, quite literally, cooking. Every single second counts, and you have to start cooling the person down aggressively.
While you're waiting for that ambulance to arrive, you are the first line of defense. Get the person to a cool spot, get their outer clothes off, and start spraying them with water and fanning them like crazy. And here's a pro tip. Put ice packs on the neck, armpits, and groin. Why there? Because major blood vessels are super close to the skin in those spots, and cooling them down helps lower the core body temperature way, way faster.
All right, we have tackled the heat. Now let's completely flip the script and talk about the other extreme, the sneaky, insidious danger of cold, and what happens when your body starts losing the fight to stay warm.
So hypothermia is when your core body temperature drops dangerously low, and its symptoms can be really deceptive. The person might not seem like they're in trouble. They might just seem a little confused or clumsy or really sleepy. But that intense shivering, followed by a sudden lack of shivering, is a major red flag that their body is losing a very critical battle.
Treating hypothermia is all about being gentle. You have to handle the person very carefully because jarring movements can actually trigger a dangerous heart rhythm. Get them to shelter, gently remove any wet clothes, and call 911. If they're awake and can swallow, warm, not hot drinks can help. But here's a big one. Absolutely no alcohol. It might make them feel warm, but it actually causes the body to lose heat even faster.
So, while hypothermia is a problem for the whole body, extreme cold can also launch a much more targeted attack on specific body parts, and that, of course, is frostbite.
What you're looking for with frostbite is literally the freezing of body tissue. So keep an eye out for skin that looks pale, waxy, or maybe grayish yellow. It might feel unusually firm or totally numb. It usually hits the parts of our bodies that are most exposed, so our fingers, toes, nose, and ears.
Okay, for first aid, the key is gentle rewarming. Use warm water, tepid, not hot. But honestly, the don'ts are probably even more important here. Never, ever rub the area. That can cause even more tissue damage. And this is a big one. Do not even start the rewarming process if there's any chance at all that the area could freeze again. That freeze, thaw, refreeze cycle is incredibly destructive.
So let's just do a quick recap of the big three, the absolute no-question emergencies. If you even suspect heat stroke, a severe burn, or hypothermia, your first and most important action is to call 911. These conditions need immediate professional medical help, period.
You know, when you boil it all down, it really just comes back to this simple framework. Is the problem too much heat? Cool them down. Is the problem too much cold? Warm them up, but do it gently. For any really serious situation, get professional help on the way. And through it all, your most powerful tool is your ability to stay calm. That's what allows you to think clearly and actually do all these other things effectively.
And of course, we always have to end with this critical reminder. This explainer is all about empowering you with knowledge, but it can never, ever replace the diagnosis and treatment you get from a healthcare professional. Always prioritize your own safety and call for help when you need it.
So now you have the knowledge. You can spot the difference between a serious problem and a life-threatening disaster. The real question is no longer what to do, it's, are you prepared to act when it really counts?